you're always looking at your minimap. So say you're reloading, knife out, utility, any sort of thing, or your second in line. Those are all excellent times to look at your minimap, or that's when you should be looking at your minimap. If you like this video, don't forget to dislike and subscribe down below. And if you may, come join me at twitch.tv/BurgyNinja4, where I stream Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 7 p.m. to 9 o'clock p.m. for live low elo coaching and VOD review. I hope to see you there. Hi, I'm Briggy Ninja, your personal coach. For today's session, I wanted to talk about map awareness. Map awareness is actually a very broad topic, but we're going to break it down into two distinct workable pieces. The first one is map timings, and the second topic we'll be talking about is minimap awareness. Okay. So for map timings, it's the concept of how long it takes for you to get to a certain portion of the map. So allow me to demonstrate what that would look like. So for example, the time it takes for me to full clomp, full set towards C long to get into C main is about 132, about 8 seconds to full clomp this way down. Using the same timer at 125 or 120, we'll walk down there. Full walk, no noise. And this is direct. This is not clearing it. This is not doing anything special. If I full walk, it'll take about 10 seconds. Now, doing the same thing from 1 minute, the timer to come down C long will accurately, trying not to make noise and clearing it properly. I'm trying to do so as one would do in game. So you'd come over here, and then it takes about 15 seconds. And so understanding these timings around the map will give you a huge advantage, and that's how you take advantage of the concept of timing. Because if you expect no noise, and you know that it takes 10 seconds for them to walk down, no noise, just full knife out, you know 10 seconds in, peek out, take your shots, and back away. Of course, it's not always that cut and dry, that super simple, but typically it allows you to understand like where gaps could be at certain moments. So for example, if you notice 5 towards A and you're the B player, on any specific map, this could be applicable, but we're talking Lotus right now. You know for a fact, or you don't know it for a fact, but you can time it. Let's say they get stunted A and they like full clomp. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, and they can round the corner coming your way, or they'd even be over here. And if they didn't want to make noise away from the A main circle, they get over here, they knife out. It's 1, 2, or excuse me, let me count it properly. Be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then they want to get ready to peek, it'd be like 8, 9. So it'd take 9 seconds. That way you have yourself. In contrast, if you're noted that they're all that way, you come out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and they're there. Proper scale up would be something along the lines of this, but we're not talking about scaling. It'd be like check here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you can do anything. You can just hug the wall here, whatever. But this is what allows you to get timings. Like find timings in the defense, because it's just how fast you're able to do things around the map. And thus that brings us, it's a pretty simple concept. A lot of learning the timings of the map is just going into a custom game like I am now and just kind of time yourself. Go around, either use the natural clock, like in-game clock, you just unpause it, just in-game, like how long does it take me to get from A rubble to hut? And the answer may surprise you. It's about 13 seconds, full running. Not even. Obviously do it with like intention. Know the initial placement, know the end time. I didn't recall my start time, but it's around here. I'll actually do it. So let's say I'm rubble. And I want to run there. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like 8 and 8 some change. That's full knife out. That isn't even like you're worried about other threats, because that's not how naturally the game is. Then naturally you check threats first and you assume it's just a mega slower. It's typically double the time, but still. Yeah, and developing these natural timings, typically you'll develop these as you play more Valorant, but if you need to be more mindful of them, like you're getting lurked on a lot, or a lot of people catch you on some weird timings consistently through the game, it's a good thing to check out. And I would just practice, you know, taking every possible timing you can into a map that you kind of struggle with. I wouldn't pick a map you're good on, because if you're good on it, you probably innately know it. But I'd say like a weaker map of yours I would pick. The second part of it is minimap awareness. First thing I'll talk about is minimap settings. When you go to general, you go to your map. But yeah, for your settings, you can do fixed or rotate. It just depends your personal preference. I personally believe rotate and keep player at center are good for minimap refragging out of smokes. But it's always up to you if you want to decide. But you just want your size to be big and your zoom to be low, so that you can see the whole map. So that whenever you take a glance, let's say you unpeak, you take a glance, you want to be able to see the whole map instead of just a portion of it. So I wanted to go over, you know, common times you should be looking at your minimap versus looking at your crosshair. So the first thing, I'm going to go through crosshair. It'll look easier. So crosshair, you want to be looking at your crosshair if you're going to approach an angle. You want to be in crosshair mode when you're going to approach a danger angle and you want to focus on the fight. So for example, I'm going to peek C main. My eyes are entirely on my crosshair. And if you're first in line, your crosshair should be dialed in case there's a threat in this area. And if you're not first in, well, we'll talk about that later, but this is like you're first in line, you're fully crosshair mode. This is entirely just crosshair. That's your only danger. That's the first kind of way you'll be just crosshair only. The second one is if you're holding an angle. If you're holding an angle that can be peaked and dangerous, there's pixel angles, there's just tight angles. You can hold a little wider. However you do it, if you're holding, your eyes are glued to your crosshair, not to your minimap, because I know for a fact you guys watching this have glanced at your minimap while you're holding this angle. This dude peeks and he kills you. We're just going to try to break that bad habit by doing this as an always. If you're holding something, you're always focused on your crosshair, never on your minimap. If you want to take a peek of the minimap after some shots or something, a ring, unhold, and then just kind of jiggle back out and then start holding again. The only other time you should be focused on your crosshair is if you're in a threat area. For example, let's say there's enemies mound. You're always going to be wanting on your crosshair because you're constantly alerted to danger. There's a threat here and you have to deal with it. You can't be looking at your minimap because you'll just get shot. All right. So those are common options, or those are common scenarios where you're going to find yourself wanting to look at your crosshair. Let's do common scenarios where you'll want to look at your minimap instead. So for example, if you're knife out, you're always looking at the minimap. I don't care. This is a very constant. Looking at your screen is just not necessary. Like, you're not going to be able to shoot your gun, so looking at your crosshair makes no sense. I said screen for no reason. But yeah, you want to be looking at your minimap. And the better you are like traversing while just looking at the minimap, allows you to gather so much free information while you're doing stuff like rotating or just kind of like even jump spotting. Like, you don't have to look at this, like your crosshair to jump spot. More accurate one would be here. Yeah. But then you'd use that for your knife out. When you're knife out, you look at your minimap. Same for utility. Anytime you can't fire your weapon, your eye should be glued to the minimap, because then you can kind of see where you're throwing it, how you want things to land. Wingman is a different exception. For wingman, or any kind of thing you need to like see, yeah, you have to look at your crosshair. But besides that, typically you'll want to be minimap. Let's say you're second in line. So second, or just as long as you're not first in line. If you're not first in line, let's say there's a person scaling ahead of you. We'll just use wingman for the example. He's first in line. He'll take the fight first. So you will be focused entirely on your minimap, and then you'll be looking to refrag off of the enemy location. But yeah, but that's the general rule of thumb, is if you can't fire your weapon, but yeah, And then in conjunction with that, with your being like minimap aware, you start to see like openings from like the timings on the map. So you know, if you started seeing, you hung around there for about 5 seconds, you know it's very possible, if you like took your knife out and rotated, that this guy is probably, or could have had a timing on UA main, or could have walked up B main. There's so many options that give them timings. But yeah, so those are the topics at hand. Let's say, how do you practice them? So for your timings portion of your map awareness, the best thing to do is just go into a custom game and just kind of time yourself realistically moving around the map and kind of figure out how long it takes you to do certain actions at a certain time. You can also do this by timing how pros do it, but I find it's way more consistent if you're just in a death match with your own timer, just kind of walking around the map doing everything. So let's say, for example, let's say, oh, I want to show myself walking up B main, just knife out. How fast is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I have a threat angle. I would never just W key around this. There's a threat angle. So it's 7 to get up here, silent walking, and then I'd have to check all this, and then I'd go on to B. Right? Or if I want to just do like full clomping. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 seconds to get myself onto B site. Just full noise. To train minimap, it's really just setting your conditions. So in game, your conditions are knife, knife's out, you're looking at your minimap. Gun, and you're taking first fight, your crosshair. You're switching your focus between the two. Oh, I'm using utility. Minimap time. I'm first in line again. Exposing threat angles. Knife's out. Minimap time. Oh, I have to reload. Minimap time. And so being able to switch your focus between crosshair mode and minimap mode are very important. And it'll take some focus. I want you to, and if this helps, I would try it. So in your games, when you queue up, whenever you have your knife out, you're always looking at the minimap. If you have your gun out, ready to shoot, you're always looking at your crosshair, okay? It's a good way to set the condition, and it allows you to get really good at it. Or you want it to become second nature so you don't have to actively think about it in your games. That's like the whole goal. You do both of those drills and keep those concepts in mind, and you'll be a couple steps further into being a better Valorant player, and that's what I'm here for. So I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. If indeed you still are, good luck on the climb, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.